Hello, my name is Jose. Welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to turn this tree that I got for $5 into a bonsai. Okay, so I went shopping at Lowe's, and if you know what Lowe's is, it's a local hardware store, and in the garden section they had this wonderful Bald Cypress tree on clearance because they thought it was dead. Now, Bald Cypresses usually shed all their leaves during the winter time, or what we call winter here in Florida. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the plant from the pot, because as anything that you would do, you start with the base, and the base of a plant, it's going to be the root system. And I wanted to start with that because it's really going to dictate how it can be turned into a bonsai and what you can actually do with it. And as a surprise, I found out that most of the main root system is in the bottom of the pot. This tells me two things. The plant didn't receive enough water because it push all the roots down to where the most water were collected in the pot, which was the bottom. In a well-nourished plant that receives enough water, you will find that most roots are spread out throughout the whole pot, and this is not the case. As you can see right here on the right side, there's the main root, and there's a couple of long roots that just head to the bottom. This is a blessing in disguise that I have no idea about, but it's going to work perfectly because it's going to allow me to keep the plant in a bonsai pot, because most of the main root system is located in a shallow area. So as you can see right here, there is a lot of roots in the bottom and a lot of empty space near the top, and I can definitely use that to my advantage. You can see the thickness of that root, it's almost as thick as the main trunk. So I can use that to have most of those roots exposed, because they're not the roots that are going to be feeding the plant. So now the next step, I'm going to go in and I am going to remove some of the smaller roots that are near the top, which are mostly brittle and dried out, and this is going to help promote the growth of the roots in the bottom. It's also going to allow me to expose those areas near the top of the root system, what you would call the base of the trunk. It's going to be moved down closer to where the actual roots are, and I'm just going through and just simply, like, if the roots are just basically just breaking off as I lightly tug on them, that just tells you they're not really feeding the plant. They were at one point healthy roots that just dried out because, like I said, this plant probably didn't receive enough water. Bald cypresses usually grow near a body of water, so they are used to receiving a lot of sunlight and also keeping most of the roots moist all the time. So you can see right here all the roots in the bottom and the difference between the roots on the bottom versus the roots on the top. See how small and brittle they are? They just are breaking apart and falling apart. Now there's a lot of dirt that's still kind of left in there and attached to the plant, so what I'm going to go in and do is I'm going to clean the root system by just hosing it down and getting rid of a lot of the not so wonderful dirt that most plants that you buy at a store come in. That dirt is basically meant to keep moisture in. It doesn't really hold any nutrition, and it's not the best for bonsais, especially since you're trying to do a large plant in a small container. So I'm just trying to get rid of as much of that dirt as possible with the hose. I'm making sure it's not too much of a powerful blast of water because you don't want to hurt the roots, but I do want to get rid of most of that dirt that does not promote any growth or health to the plant. And I'm cleaning the wall because I made a mess. So you can see now the shapes and the forms that it has is going to really create a really beautiful base for a bonsai tree. So this is the pot I was thinking about using, which works perfect because as you can see, it just completely slides in there. All the root system goes to the bottom and it leaves a lot of the top area exposed. Now this, I got really lucky. This doesn't always happen. A lot of the times when you actually go in and get a plant and try to turn into a bonsai, you might find that it's not possible at the first go. You can just work over time with that plant. So now I'm going to get the pot ready. We have the drain holes where the water escapes, and they're a little bit too big, so I use these meshes, and I create a staple out of the bonsai wire that I have, and I push it through the mesh. This plastic mesh works best for me because it doesn't get caught too much in the root system like some of the metal meshes do. So you basically create a staple that you push through it, as you can see right here, and you push the staple through the draining hole in the bonsai pot. And obviously I'm doing both draining holes because I don't want the dirt to get out. And as you can see, there's the little staple ends stick out of the other side, and I use my wire tool to bend them over. That is going to keep those in place so they will not go anywhere. Another thing this pot doesn't have that a lot of bonsai pots do, especially the more expensive bonsai pots, is what they call anchor holes, which is where you will use some wire to anchor the plant into place. Because a plant like this, if I were just put it in the pot, it's just going to fall over and knock all the dirt over. So since the draining holes are secure with the mesh, I'm able to use some other wire to push through, and this is what I'm going to use to anchor the plant in place so that the plant does not fall over or get knocked over by the wind or anything like that. So I'm going to start by putting some gravel at the bottom and then putting some bonsai soil, because I do want for the roots to keep growing, because it's going to promote the health of the plant, and it's actually going to have a lot of room, and hopefully I will be able to keep it water well enough. But I don't want all the roots to be at the bottom of the pot. I want it for it to be somewhere down the middle. So I'm carefully putting the plant through, making sure that the wire that I placed, that's going to be the anchor wire, is still exposed. It's a little bit hard to see here because of all the roots, but I'm wiggling the wire so you can kind of see a little bit better. And what I do now is I grab both ends and I twist it together around one of the main roots, one of the thicker roots. That way will hold the plant in place. I use my tool to make sure it's nice and tight, and the best way to check is if you're able to lift the pot by lifting it through the plant, it means that it's anchored correctly, and basically if the plant's going to fall over, the pot's going to come with it. So here's my test, and I'm able to lift the plant by the trunk of the plant. You don't want to do this with all the plants because you might cause some damage, but being this is a healthier, more adult plant, it won't really be an issue to do that. Now I'm going through and adding the rest of the dirt. Now I want this root to be a little bit closer to the rest. It's just kind of sticking out off to the side. So my trick is going to be to find a rock, and I'm going to place it on the bottom of that root system right there that stems from that main root, and that, as you can see, just holds it right in place. You could wire that root, but then you have to worry about removing the wire later on so that it doesn't cause any damage to the root. So the rock does a good job of keeping it in place for now. Now when I feel I have enough dirt, I go ahead and I get my metal toothpick, and I'm going to start gently stabbing the dirt, and as you can see, the dirt's going to start falling into place. What this does is it pushes some of the dirt into the areas and crevices between the roots, so we don't have any air pockets, which is not healthy for the plant, and it allows for the dirt to get more compact without me just simply pushing it down. If you just start pushing it down from the top, you can actually break some of the roots, and you might not feel all the air pockets in there. Once you see that dirt's not moving that much and you're kind of ready, the last thing I do, since I want to keep more moisture in, is I grab some of the original soil from the plant from when I bought it and I place it on the top. I noticed that mulchy type of dirt tends to help keep the moisture in, and this is what we want for Bald Cypress because it is a plant that loves a lot of moisture. Now, all these roots on the top were previously in the dirt, so they're not used to being blasted by the sunlight or exposed to the elements. So I'm just grabbing some Spanish moss and covering it up. So it allows sunlight to filter through and some wind and stuff. And now I'm go ahead and water it, but it keeps all those roots well covered and protected, but it allows for them to be acclimated to the open environment over time. Now everything's nice and watered, we are ready to move on to the next step. This is a pretty tall plant. It's about 9 feet tall, and I want it to be right about this height right here, maybe a foot or 2.5 feet from the ground. I want to cut some of it off, but I don't want to cut it so low. I want to cut right above a couple of branches because this is going to tell the plant to keep growing, and hopefully will help it generate some from the bottom. Now obviously this is not the same plant we're dealing with. This is another Bald Cypress that I've had for about 6 years now, and this is basically the same process I created this plant with. So this is what we're aiming for. What we want to look for in the future is this little buds right here. You're going to see off of the main trunk. You'll see them right around here on the left, and then there's also one on the right here. It's a little bit harder to see, and one over there on the left again. So we want that to later on become branches in the future. Also, there was a little frame on my plant that I didn't notice until I started recording. I wanted to give the trunk some shape, so I used a bungee cord and some wire because it looked a little simple just having that root system so beautifully and then the plant coming straight up. I hope you guys learned something today. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Like and subscribe, all that thing. Thank you so much. Bye. Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like it, leave a comment below, and for more art related videos, go to my channel and subscribe.